What's up, y'all, and welcome to Worldly Church Girl Live. It's your girl, your host, Lillian Harshaw. Let's address the elephant in the room. What in the world is Worldly Church Girl? Worldly Church Girl Live is just like the podcast. Uncut, raw, unfiltered conversations with kingdom-minded people who are sharing their life stories, how they overcame for God's glory. So sit back and relax and enjoy Worldly Church Girl Live. Hello, and welcome to Worldly Church Girl Live. It's your girl, your host, Lillian Harshaw. Welcome, and it is Friday. This has been a heck of a week. Let's see, if you're from Indy, we had snow, and it came and it went. As you know, I'm a huge Prince fan, so I celebrated, well, not necessarily celebrated, but I gave honor to his passing. So my timeline was very full of all his pictures, and you're going to either follow me or unfollow me. The verdict came in of the policeman whose name I shall not say, but he got 3 guilty verdicts. So we had quite a week this week. So good evening, Mr. Nelson. Glad that you can join me on this evening. So this has been some kind of a week, but I want to thank God that we have had a blessed week, a great week. I would like to thank my guest for coming on today. She did not hesitate when I asked her to come. She just said, let's do this. Let's roll out. And she brought some energy, and I'm glad about it because, you know, this is a lively show. I don't have dead guests. Everybody's about that hype, and I'm glad about it because, you know, there's enough drama and stuff going on in this world, and we need some positive energy. We need some love in this world right now. We need some good feelings right now. Hey, Dr. Valerie, how you doing? As always, got much love for you too. So it gives me such honor to introduce this beautiful lady. Look at her fixing herself up. She didn't even have to. Lena Chapman, how you doing today, lady?
I am good. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great on this evening. Don't you love how church people, we always go on tonight and on this evening?
On this glorious evening.
On today.
Right. The day that the Lord has made. And
Come
we
on
should
now.
rejoice and be glad in it. Come on, somebody. Amen.
Oh, man. Love it. That's right, Mr. Nelson. Thank you for coming on the show. Like I said, you didn't even hesitate. You didn't pause for the calls. You just said, I'm with that. Let's do it. And I appreciate that very much so.
Absolutely. It's what I do. It's what I love. It's my passion.
And, you know, and here's the thing. It's not like your plate isn't full. You do a lot.
Yes.
More than a little bit.
A little bit of a lot of it. Yes, ma'am.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, you have like, you know, if you was a restaurant, you know, you have a full station and you got a carry-out station.
Mm-hmm. And breakfast, lunch, and dinner. How about that?
And you got a drive-through.
There we go. Yeah.
I mean, you got a lot.
And it's all quality. There we go.
And it's quality. It's 5-star. So yes. I want to thank you so much for joining me, and I want to thank you for what you do. So before I dive completely in on what you do, I want to back up a little bit because I like the people to get the foundation of where everyone started.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were in high school, did you know where you were going to be at the age of 30? What you were going to be?
Absolutely. So when I was in high school, I wanted to be an actress.
Okay.
So that's what I want.
Okay.
I'm gonna be an actress, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna go to college in mass communication, and I'm just gonna show everybody my skills. I'm going to Hollywood. I'm gonna, book the best movies, all these different things. That was me. That's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Completely
It's
different.
come a little bit. Just a
Completely
smith. Just
shifted. Like,
okay.
God.
So why actress? Why that? Hi, Ashley. How you doing?
Hey, Ashley. Ashley is my business partner. That's Ashley.
Oh,
That's my business partner at Haven of Support. Hey, hon.
okay.
Donna Scott, Prophetess Donna Scott. How are you? Love to
All
see
right.
you. Yes, yes. So basically what happened was I just loved acting. I love to, I'm very expressive, as you can see. I love to
Mm-hmm.
engage. I love to bring people and just get them out of their element. So I love doing that. I was always in the church plays and things of that nature. And so, well, not always, but sometimes I was in the church plays and things of that nature. And I really, really, really love to act. So I said,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I want to do. I want to be an actress. I want to pull people and be out of my element and jump into other people's space and just bring it out to the audience. And so that's what I wanted to do. My first semester in college, it was between my first semester or my first year or first year in college. I decided that, yeah, I don't quite want to do this. This is not my space.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Wasn't
my
feeling it.
And so I remember laying across my roommate's bed, and she was a psychology major. And I remember reading this abnormal psychology book. I was just reading a couple paragraphs, and I said, this is so interesting. I literally changed my major within that next week or so to
Mm.
psychology. I said, this is what I want to do. And from there, hit the ground running.
That is a huge shift
Yes, yes, absolutely.
from actress to psychology. Okay. And because that was my next question, what led you to that?
Mhm.
Because again, an extremely huge shift.
Yeah.
Now, what was the driving force that kept you going to pursue that even further? Because you like really pursued that like hard.
Yes, yes. So what really just drew me in was definitely just the mind. And honestly, if you talk to a lot of counselors, psychologists, whoever are in the, let's just say, the mental health field, there was always someone in their family who just had them, just was like, something is just, what is it? What's wrong? What happened? How can you be the way you are? And so there was someone in my family that was that way. And I just wanted to know what made their mind do what it did and what made them act out in the behavior that they did. So that was one of my driving force, trying to figure out where their mind was. And
Mm-hmm.
then also realizing that I had a gift for talking to people, and people would come to me with their problems and just say, I need to talk. And I didn't realize it was a gift of mine. I just thought I was just a personable person and people love to talk to me. But once it started becoming like, no, I'm confiding in you. I need your support. I need your help. I need your advice. Then it started being like, this may be more to it than just me being a good friend or a good associate. This is more than this. So it definitely it was me exercising my gift. Yeah.
Right. So would you say that I'm going to go a little churchy. Would you say that your gift of discernment
Yeah.
kicked in into your studies, more or less?
I would say that at that time, so I grew up in church all my life, like seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so I would say I did not quite understand what was going on, but as I look back, yes, it was. It was that basically the Holy Spirit leading and guiding me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is what's going on. Just be a listening ear. Know when to shut up and when to actually put my input in and things of that nature. And so as I was studying, it became more interesting to me because it was like the mind, and how the mind works and how God wired the mind. Now I'm saying that now, back then it was just the science part of it. But now as I see, it's like, no, it's the creation part of the mind, the creation part of the being, of people that was interesting to me. And so it was just that piece of it.
Yeah. Now, what would you say? And what would you say is the biggest misconception of receiving help, mental help for that matter?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm gonna say it with a story. How about this? So
Okay.
I was pregnant with my first child in 2000 and 2012. And so I went through a very rough time. And after I had him, I thought I just had the baby blues. Just, that 6 weeks they give your hormones time to readjust and things of that nature. But it lingered. And I remember going to my OBGYN and that 6-week appointment, and he was just like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, I don't really know." And I remember he handed me some cards for a therapist. Now, keep in mind, I'm in school to be a therapist, okay? I'm in school to be a professional counselor here. And when he handed me these cards, I said, maybe I should go. But it was something that happened. I remember taking him home to my husband. He was just like, "I don't know." And then I became discouraged. Now, he said that because, he was afraid himself. And then that made me afraid. So it wasn't necessarily like he didn't want me to go, but he just was like, "I don't know. They're going to put you on medicine," things of that nature. And I felt like I went through this point. I went through this point because there was oftentimes I was sitting in the church. And I was having issues with things of issues and things of that nature. And it was very hard for me to basically
get the baby. Go ahead.
Listen, I'm a mom. Give me just a second.
No, get the baby because I get it.
Give me just a second. I'm sorry. Let me mute.
No, go ahead, get the baby. Look, I get it. I have 4 of them. So sometimes you got to be a mommy. Hi, Rico. How you doing? Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.
Okay, I'm so sorry. No,
I get it. Like I was just telling everybody, I got 4, so I get it. They're grown, but I get it. Been there.
Yes. And so basically I sat in church dealing with these things, anxiety and depression, and I was afraid to reach out. So I was afraid to go get help. Even though I knew that there was nothing wrong with it, I was scared. And so I felt like I went through that period in my life in order to be on the other side of it, to know what people are going through when it comes to the church. There's people who are sitting there, it's just like, I'm suffering in silence. And I feel like I should just go to the altar and pray. And maybe it'll go away. Maybe I can shout my way through. Maybe I can praise my way through, which is an awesome avenue. But there was so much more to it that I needed. And so God had to put me in that position in order for me to understand on the other side of it, to say, it's not so much of people, they just don't want to get help, but it's very scary. It's a scary thing to say, I'm not okay, and I need some extra support, and I have to reach out beyond my support system.
Right. And I was going to ask you that why do you think it's so hard for the church to go and get professional help? Why do you think that is?
Well, there's a couple reasons. One is that it is foreign. It's a foreign thing, and I don't blame anyone. I understand why it's a hard thing to do, because first of all, when you're talking about therapists, you're talking about your mind. And a lot of people are like, I don't want people messing with my mind, because I feel like I'm trying to keep it together. And if you go picking at something and everything falls apart, then what? So it's, first of all, it's scary. The other thing is the misconception of what therapy is. If we really look at therapy as an extension of the altar, if we would really look at therapy as a space where God uses therapy to help deliver his people, then we won't be so scared to actually utilize that resource. Okay. And so that's another avenue that, people can take when it comes to therapy. And so when we talk about like counselors and therapists and mental health advocates and things of that nature, is really looking at it as a resource from the source.
Right.
Yes.
Amen. And I think another part of it is, and this is my personal, very uneducated professional opinion, is that, as you said, the fear of unloading a lot of things that we don't want to know.
Yes.
Because a lot of things are so deep embedded within us that, we're just afraid to find out about ourselves or our past.
Yes.
And because from what I've heard of most people who do go to therapy, is that most of the time they end up finding out it's not other people that cause the pain. They end up causing the pain to themselves.
Mm. And I think I read something that was so true, that most people are in therapy because of people who won't go to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very difficult. Yes, things have happened to us, but we are very responsible for our healing. And I think that's the most important thing to remember, is that yes, things have happened. People have done different things to us. Things have transpired, trauma, grief, things of that nature. But we have to realize that we are still responsible, regardless if this person comes to therapy or not, regardless if this person gives us that apology or not, regardless if that person ever comes to the realization that they are the issue in the relationship. We still have a responsibility. I have a responsibility. You have a responsibility. Everybody has a responsibility for their healing so that they can move forward and fulfill their purpose.
Right, right. Now, I want you to tell us about your business.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
So Haven of Support Counseling Services. Again, my name is Lena Chapman, and my co-owner, the co-owner, Ashley Reese. We both partnered together. I've known Ashley since we were like 12, so we go way back, high to tree high. And so we both partnered together. And we came up with the business of supporting people through healing. My specialty is definitely the church. I remember a couple years ago back when I was just kind of starting off and getting a feel of like, okay, what's my specialty? What is my niche? Because I mean, counseling can be a niche, but what is your specialty? And so I remember thinking like, okay, I can reach out to churches and help the churches with different things. And I remember thinking, okay, reaching out to churches. And I remember it being like almost an assignment. Let me go to the churches to help set God's people free. And I remember like that kept going over my head. And I'm like, this isn't me talking. This is God. Like, this is literally God saying, I need you to go to the churches to help set my people free. And I said, okay, I will go. And so what happened was, with that, we started a private practice, and I began to do, go to churches, do trainings, do presentations, do girl talks, do all different types of things, podcasts, lives, even a TV show. I got to do like a month back, but just to talk about the stigmatism about mental health in the church. And so it's definitely been a passion of mine. And so along with that, I have a little thing brewing here, which is a nonprofit called Haven of Light, School of Mental Health. And so this is brewing to a space where we will start reaching out and training leadership, training people of organizations and things like that about mental health. So that way, when they start their nonprofits, when they're in churches, when they're things of that nature, they know how to support God's people or support the people that they serve. And so that is a little bit of the niche that, I've been kind of working on with Haven of Support and Haven of Light School of Mental Health.
Wow. Now, what is the age range for the people that you help?
So we work with kids probably from the age of, let's say, 5 or 6. And then adolescents, of course, it just goes from kids all the way up. My business partner definitely works with the younger crowd. She does have, work with adults too, but she's more focused with the younger school age children, as I'm more focused with more adults. I do see adolescents. So it's like adolescents. For me, it's adolescents all the way up to adulthood. And then she does more of the like school age children to people who are adults as well.
Okay. Now, what would you say is the one common denominator of the people that come to you?
The common denominator. So the common denominator is trauma. A lot of trauma. And honestly, since my niche is people who are Christians, or now I see a wide variety of people. They don't have to necessarily be Christians or anything like that. I've seen people with different backgrounds, beliefs, and things of that nature. And that's perfectly fine with me, because it's not about that. It's about supporting people. And no matter what people they are, they're all God's people. So that's my goal here.
Amen.
So anyway, the common denominator is trauma. there's been a lot of trauma. A lot of people have dealt with different things. And when we look at trauma, we don't realize that verbal abuse, emotional abuse is part of trauma. We always think it's about physical or sexual abuse, but emotional and verbal abuse is also trauma. It's traumatic. And so I would say that's a huge denominator when it comes to a lot of the clients that I see.
Now, I want to share something, and I'm going to put this on the World Wide Web.
All right.
And okay, because you're talking about verbal abuse.
Yes.
And I hope some of my high school friends are watching this, because but I ain't gonna name no name.
All right.
But okay, I remember when, look, back in high school, and I was sitting at the popular table, if you will. And I was sitting there with the girls, and we was having lunch. And I remember this group of popular boys walked by, and football, basketball, I can't remember, but it was a mixed breed of guys. And I remember one of them, one of the cuter ones, he walked past and he was like, man, this is the finest table in the whole cafeteria, except for you.
Ooh, wow.
When I tell you, I crawled so deep into a hole. Now, here's the messed up part about it. Now, one of them girls stood up for me, and not one of them dudes stood up for me.
Wow.
And to this day, that still is a thorn in my side.
Yes.
To this day. And here's what's even worse. About maybe 11 years ago, that same guy inboxed me in Facebook. I had the biggest crush on you in high school.
Wow.
Bro, you lying. I didn't even tell him. I still to this day have not told him that he said that or did that, or I'm still carrying that pain about that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But words have so much impact on somebody. So here I am, 49, talking about something that happened to me when I was probably 14. And traumatized, because I was freshman year, so I had to have been like 14 or whatever, or something like that. And I think he was like a senior. But yeah, traumatized. So yeah.
And people don't realize that. And that's why it's very important to understand what trauma is, because when people say, well, I wasn't beaten up or anything like that, or I wasn't sexually abused, so I didn't really experience trauma, but my dad called me every name in the book, and I'm like, that's trauma. It's very
Dr. Valerie, I find it very easy for him to say that, because the glow up is real. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But that's neither here nor there.
They definitely stick with you. It hits, and so it's an insecurity. And so when anybody says anything about us, it's just an insecurity, and it's like, well, shoot, it's validating it. So if you say anything about, oh, girl, you might need to do this and that, you're like, oh my God, are they calling me ugly? Oh my gosh, here goes somebody else. They're calling me ugly. And it hits that spot, that soft spot. And that's why, like you said, words hurt. Emotional and verbal abuse is also trauma. It's very traumatic. And that thing sticks with us for years and years and years.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But so anyway, we'll talk about that later. I'm not trying to have no counseling session for all y'all to hear.
But here's an example of what we do.
Right. But my point, and that costs money, and you just, I ain't trying to make you give me something for free. Point is that I understand what you're saying, and and on top of that is like a hurt from something that was so far from my past that I've carried on to my present, and that could do with any of your clients. I'm sure. I'm pretty sure that's like an ongoing pattern that someone might have to dig deep and then resurface, and for them to unpack with you to deal with what's going on with them currently. So, wow. Wow. So
Yeah,
again, it goes back to how you became from I want to be an actress to this. Amazing.
absolutely.
Absolutely amazing. Look what God would do.
Hmm. He will
Look what
definitely put you on a straight and narrow path. And it wasn't like I was running. It was just that I just wasn't on the right path.
mm-hmm.
But I do feel like it's all purposeful because the things that I did learn in mass communication about speaking and enunciating and making sure you draw in the audience and things like that, that definitely helps me when it comes to presentations, when it comes to, trainings and things like that to draw your audience in. So it definitely wasn't in vain. It wasn't a waste of time. It
Mm-hmm.
literally God's way of saying, okay, you're going to need this in your tool belt for later on. So go ahead and stuff that over here until later on. Yep.
Right, right.
Hmm.
Now, what I notice is that you call yourself, well, you have been called a therapist after God's own heart. I want you to break that down.
Yes. And so when I think about that, a therapist after God's own heart, I think of David. David
Mm-hmm.
is a person, a man after God's own heart. And that's what he was labeled as. And when I think about being a therapist, I'm after God's heart. It's not for my glory, but for the glory of God. It's not for anyone else's glory or to gain anything, recognition or anything about it. It's about God. It's about souls. It's about supporting God's people. And so that's what wherever God's heart is where my heart wants to be. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
after his heart. I'm after his passion for people, his long suffering, his grace, his mercy for people. And so I want to show that as a therapist. So whatever God's heart is, that's where I'm reaching to. And it's for his glory, not for mine.
Is
Mm-hmm.
it hard for you sometimes to not get too personal with your clients and to keep it, business and also to, being a godly woman to not put your heart too much in it? Is it hard for you to separate the two?
It's not hard, and I say it because I think through training and just years and years of doing what I've done, I've been doing, is it
Mm-hmm.
kind of it's boundaries. You definitely have to have boundaries. But what I tell people with this is this: when I get to my clients, if it's a man or a woman, I say I want you to feel like you're talking to a professional homie or a professional homegirl.
Oh,
I'm
come
always
on.
to remain professional in everything I do, but I want you to feel comfortable of talking to like your friend or your homeboy. And so I
Mm-hmm.
say that because I don't want to come across hands crossed. Well, tell me how you feel. I want you to feel loose. I'm gonna say, oh, okay, tell me about it. I'll cross my hands and I'll use my body language or whatever the case may be. I want people to feel comfortable. It's already scary. It's already scary that you're coming to a stranger, unleashing all this stuff, and then you don't want anybody who's uptight. You don't want anybody
Right.
like that. You want somebody who you can be relatable to. And that's what I try to be for all my clients. It's relatable, and make sure that of course, there's boundaries that definitely has to stay up because you definitely want to make sure you're supportive, but you're not enabling.
Right. Right.
So that's kind of like, the spill about that. Yeah.
Because it'd be hard for me because I'll be ready to hug them and probably start crying and
Well,
I'll probably get all emotional.
I don't think a hug is a bad thing. Sometimes people need it, and you have to go what you feel. Okay, what you feel is professionally right. Sometimes you do
Mm-hmm.
need to hug your client. You can ask, is it okay if I give you a hug? Is it okay? Is that okay? It's okay to do that sometimes. Now I wouldn't just be over
Okay.
there just, hugging everybody, that type of thing. But if you feel that it's an appropriate moment to do so, and you ask permission if that's okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Just to get over a friendly church hug.
Yeah. Get when it's time.
The sink in.
Yeah.
Now you call it a journey too for people to find themselves.
Yes.
Now, why do you say that?
Because when you think of a journey, you think when even just like a trip, we'll just say a trip and a journey, pretty much the same thing, right? So when
Mm-hmm.
you go on a trip, you have bags, right? And you pack for that trip. So whether you're going somewhere hot or cold, you pack accordingly. If you're going to the Colorado mountains and the snow, you're not going to be packing your bathing suit and shorts and things of that nature. You're going to be packing whatever you need for that climate. And so therapy is a journey. You're going to pack for the journey. So you're going to sometimes have your bags with you and things like that. And it's a journey of healing. Okay, so once we have our bags and we're walking and things like that, we're going to realize that sometimes we may need to lighten the load a little bit. Maybe the stuff that's in our bag is nothing that we need to use. Have we ever packed something for a vacation and we didn't even wear it? I packed this, I don't even need it. I packed these shoes, I didn't even wear them. It
Right.
just made your luggage heavier. Ooh, okay. So that's
Right.
why therapy is a journey. It's a trip, because whatever you bring on that trip, you have to realize what is good in that bag for where you're trying to go and what you need to release or take out of that bag because it's holding you back. Now, come on, somebody.
All right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I hear you, sis. Okay. Now, what do you tell somebody when you see the, like, you just got way too much luggage? I mean, how do you get them to recognize that, to acknowledge that about themselves?
Yes. So, what I try to do is just get a roundabout what's going on with them, what's happened in the past, and things of that nature, and then we try to find what is significant for this moment in time. What do you need for this moment in time? Okay, so I may need to be this, this, and this for this season. And I may need to be that, this, and this, or maybe I'm not in this season no more. And I need to get rid of it. So it's through the process and through the talking. You have no idea, and this is why I'm going somewhere with this. This is why it's very important to talk to a professional, because talking to your homegirls and things like that, they don't know all the right questions and techniques to use to help you get to a aha moment. Ooh, maybe I don't need to do this anymore. Oh, maybe I don't need to keep my defenses up all the time because I'm not in a traumatic situation anymore. But I've been treating everybody as if I've been in this traumatic situation, and I'm always in fight mode. And so you start to realize, like, okay, so we're always in fight mode, but are you in danger? Well, no, I'm not. So maybe we need to take that load out, take that out, and use that for a time at another time. But we need to take this off and say, okay. And then you get the tools and the strategies on how to do so. But that's why I feel like it's very important, is just to process and let them talk it out. A lot of times people process through talking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, okay, that is very true. Now, that's a good point. Now, how do you even let your friend know? Maybe you need to go see some professional help without offending them.
Oh, I'm gonna be honest. That's a tough one, because people can get defensive or offended when you tell them that, hey, I think you need to see some professional help. But it's through love and kindness how you use your words. You know, just say, hey, pull them aside. Don't do it in a joke. Girl, you need a therapist. What's wrong with you?
You crazy.
You always come to me. I don't want to hear that no more. This and that. It probably takes a gentle heart to say, I've noticed you've been going through some things and you haven't been the same lately. And sometimes you may need an outside ear. Maybe you needed someone who is different, who's not in this circle, that can be able to help support you. Oh, what do you mean? Maybe you need to talk to a therapist or a counselor. I ain't crazy, Snap. It don't mean that you're crazy. It definitely doesn't. It just means that I'm looking for a resource to help me with my issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because after a while, there's only so much advice, as you said, that we can give a person and a family member, or like you said, a friend, to where you have to be like, even interventions, because how sometimes you said let's do an intervention, and all of us get together and talk to them, and you just cringe. You just cringe. What is your advice on interventions?
Okay, it can definitely go very well, and it can definitely backfire. And the reason why is because when we're trying to do interventions and there's someone who's not very professional, sometimes we think that the tough love approach, what are you doing with your life? What is this, and this is not going to help. It can actually cause more harm. Sometimes we don't have the right words on how to say different things, and so we can actually do more harm. Can you imagine you dealing with something and everyone sees it, and then you go into a room of 15 people and they're saying, look at you. It's you.
Yeah.
How damaging that can be. So that's why I kind of cringe, because I'm just like, I think a lot of people know when they have issues, I don't think
Mhm.
they're like just blinded and saying, oh, no, I don't have a problem. They may say it out loud, but in the inside, they know. And so
Right.
these interventions, we have to be very careful about our approach to it and making sure that we're not aligning 15 people to gang up to say, we all see the same thing. And you need to get your life together. You need to just get a job. You need to just do this. You need to just,
Mhm.
like, how damaging can that be when you're the one who's actually sitting in the chair that everybody's talking about?
Right. Saying there's something wrong with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I cringed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, well, what if they shrink the number of the intervention, just a couple, a few, like a few? Would you say that would be a better choice to do an intervention?
I would say you need to know the person and what their preferences are. And sometimes it doesn't take 15 million people or 2 or 3 people. Sometimes it just takes one caring person to come and to pull that person aside. Let's go out to eat. Hey, are you okay? How are things going?
Mm-hmm.
Because even 2 or 3 is a little, it can be too much. So you got
Yeah.
to know who you're talking to and not just say, no, we're going to do this and we're going to get this straight. Yeah, let's do it in a very helpful and supportive way versus pointing the finger. So, yeah, sometimes 3 people can work. Sometimes just pulling that person aside and taking them out to eat or, doing something special with that person, maybe going on a walk and just saying, hey, I just noticed that you're a little bit different. Are you okay? Can we just start with that question? Are you
Yeah.
okay? Versus
Yeah.
giving out this advice, unsolicited advice at that. Just
Ain't
telling
that
people,
it?
hey, do this, you need to do that, you do that. Hey, are you okay? How
Because
can I
it,
support you? What
right.
do you need from me? Let's start with those questions versus, yeah.
Right. Because if they're like me, if someone asks me if I'm okay, I immediately start crying because I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because then
there's
I'm
your
gonna let you know.
adjective. And
Yeah,
there's your starting point there.
yeah, because that lets you know I'm not okay. I'm a big old mess.
Yeah.
So and because I know that you cared enough, you saw that I'm not okay.
Yeah.
So
And you
that is
felt
the
passion.
I
That's
felt their
what
compassion. I felt their love. I felt that God sent somebody to me to check on me,
yeah,
to ask me if I was okay. So
absolutely.
that is very, very, very true. Now, this might be a stinger.
All right, come on with it. Sting, sting.
All right. Now, this goes into the intervention. Now, how many times have both seen when the church do their own version of interventions?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
call someone up
Mm.
and be like, we gonna pray for you
Mhm.
because we know something's going on with you. Do you think that's a good idea?
This is where mental health training is very important. I
Mm-hmm.
think that we have been accustomed to doing things for a very long time and not realizing that it may be harmful. How harmful can it be if, let's just say, I'm going through something and then I get caught up to prayer, and then the person's praying on the mic and everybody can hear my business. And it's like, yes, I want to be delivered, but I'm so worried about what everybody else is. I'm not in that mental space for deliverance right now. I'm worried about everybody else judging me in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I can't submit. I can't even let go of what's going on inside of me
I
because,
can't even hear what God is saying to me right now, or let what hit him into my heart because I'm
yes.
worried about this.
And we have to be very careful that if the person's not necessarily going up to for prayer, that if we think that they need prayer, maybe going to them and making sure that mic is not necessarily on and everybody can hear everything that they are going through, and maybe pulling them aside. And you can call it coddling or whatever the case may be, but I call it, sometimes you have to use all the tools in your toolbox when it comes to deliverance and not just what we're accustomed to doing. The custom,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine, it can work, but there's other ways we can do this. And that's what it's kind of with the church and the trainings that I want to do, is being mindful mindful that even though we are trying to get the spiritual together, that we don't want to damage the mental and the physical while we're trying to get the spiritual, or damage the spiritual while we're connecting with this mental. And so it all ties together. So we have to be very mindful of what we're doing and what approaches we are taking. Yes.
I want to do a quick backup. I don't think I did a quick shout out to Breezy. She said, hey, a while ago, but I was caught up to what you was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where wisdom kicks in.
Yes. Lots of wisdom.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like you said, you grew up in church, and we both grew up in the church, and we both saw that, where someone would get called for prayer. And I've seen both ways. I've seen where a pastor would use wisdom and, not say anything. And I've seen where they will say too much.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Hi, Beverly. How are you? Glad you joined us this evening.
And that's where we have to be careful as the people who are in the audience as well. We have to realize what the wisdom is, that everybody is not especially spiritually minded. So there are people who are like, I don't care what's going on with you. I'm right here praying with you. I'm right here for you. I'm going to fight with you. We're going to tackle this thing together. And then you do have people who are not necessarily spiritually mature to handle what they're hearing. And so we have to be careful about that.
Right. Absolutely. Now you have a YouTube channel too.
I do. I need to upload it and do better. Oh my goodness. I tell you, when you're talking about branding and getting yourself out there, it's like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. And it's just like a dance. And it's like trying to juggle all those different things. But I try to upload all the videos that I put on my Facebook page. I do like maybe 3 or 4 minute videos, sometimes 5-minute videos every now and then about different topics that come to me during the daytime. So I know what a branding coach would say, try to record everything once, and that way you can get it all together. But for me, when God puts something in my spirit, that's how I run. And so, okay, I could be writing and something comes to me, I'm like, I need to do a video on that. And so I try to upload these videos on YouTube so that way people across the world can see it, as well as on my Facebook page. I keep everything completely public so that everybody can see, the videos and things of that nature. They don't have to necessarily be my friend to see it, even though I do welcome you to be my friend if you want. But that way anybody
be
can
her friend.
Shareable. Yes.
Because I looked on there, I was like, she's so hype on there. I was like, because you always you do this, hi.
Hello everyone, Lena Chapman here. Yes, that is my thing. Yes.
I was like, I love it. I was like, if she don't get some more videos on here.
Yes. I'm very personable, and this is just my personality. I love like what I do. I absolutely love what I do. And I can honestly say it's so freeing to be walking where you're supposed to be walking, on your assignment, on your duty, and absolutely love it. I love what I do. Hey, Angie.
Aw, see? Now you got to do the hi. Oh, my God. Yeah, I like I said, I love your spirit. And so I've been trolling.
Okay, troll, honey.
That's what I do. And so in my trolling, I saw you and your husband. He has a Facebook page, a YouTube page channel too.
Yes, he does. J Chap Snacks. So he try different snacks, like the new snacks. So he works for Walgreens. He's a store manager for Walgreens. And so he would often come home with like the weirdest like cereals and chips and cookies. And I'm like, oh, here, try this. I'm like, I'm not eating that. No, I like, just give me the plain, whatever it is. I don't have to do all of that. And so he started saying, oh, I want to try these, and going live and showing people these different things. And so he started trying different snacks and different like local people who made like different desserts and things like that. And then of course you probably saw the chip challenge.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to ask you about. That hot chip, why did you do that to yourself? Yeah, lean in. Why did you do that to yourself?
I was That's why you don't let people hype you up, okay? So that's a life lesson. Don't let people hype you up. I already knew I didn't want to do it. I could smell the chips smelled horrible. Horrible. And I knew I didn't want to eat. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna get on here with my honey bun and I'm just gonna diss with him.
Oh, that's what I call my husband. I call him Honey Bunny.
When I got on there, when I started chewing in my head, it was like my body was reacting to a foreign object. My head started itching. I started
Girl, I was crying watching that. I was like,
didn't know what to do. I was like,
I was like, what? Why? Because I saw you because first I thought you psyched him out because you looked like this and act like you ate it. It was like, I was like, good for her. But then you did it. I was like, no, ma'am. No.
And my big mistake is I drank water.
And I was about to say that. I was like, what did you do that for? And I was reading the comments and I was cracking up. They was like, don't drink water. Stop drinking the water. Stop drinking water. You just kept drinking water, putting water on the towel, putting it on you. I was like, what is she doing, Jesus? Make her stop. Everybody screaming, ice cream.
When you start panicking, you cannot think. You cannot think clearly. And see, there was a mental health piece in here too. When you are in a crisis mode, you are not thinking clearly and you start to do things that are damaging to you, even though people are trying to help you. And
look,
a moment right there. When people were like, don't drink the water, I'm like, in my mind, I said, water's good for you. Water puts out fire.
Look, you drinking water. He was smacking his stomach in labor, rubbing his stomach. You was rubbing his head, putting water on his head. The kids was in the camera. I was like, there is so much happening. I was like, Jesus.
Yes, it was a circus in that living room. And then afterwards was even worse. So the camera goes off and we're looking at each other. We will never do that.
That was one chip.
One chip.
One chip.
We had a half a chip. Well, he ate a chip before then, and we both had like a half a chip. So we bought
the same chip?
So we bought 2 chips. Mm-hmm. So he had one before. And he went through that and they psyched him up. They hyped him up again to do another one. And I said, I'll do it with you. So he did it and he cut it in half and we did that one together.
No, ma'am.
Yes.
No, ma'am.
Who does that? Mm-mm.
No. Mm-mm. I would have passed when I got to the smell. No.
The smell was horrible. The smell of the chip.
It was your facial expression because you was just like, I was like, why is she doing it? No, I know her love her some him, but no.
Yes. Don't lesson learned. Don't let people hype you up. Okay, it's not
husband or not. No.
Don't let anybody hype you up.
And the comments was telling you don't do it, and you did it anyway.
And I did it anyway.
The people loved you and was telling you don't do it, and you did it anyway.
The people, like, no. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try. Never.
The people loved you and said eat ice cream, but you just. That was
what happens when you're in panic mode. When you panic, you don't listen to anything. You think you know what's best for you. And all the while you're hurting yourself because you won't listen to somebody else who's trying to help you. So there's that. Yep. Pretty much.
That was hilarious. Which is a great segue from my next question. What advice would you give someone who's afraid of professional help?
I would say, listen, we jump in and try different things all the time. We try different foods. It may work out for us, it may not. We try different clothing, different styles of clothing. We try different hairstyles. We try a lot of different things on a daily basis. So why not try something that's actually going to better yourself or help you reach your fullest potential in life? And so if you are scared, sometimes you have to jump in scared. Most of my clients with that first session, they're like, oh my gosh, that's the first thing I ask them, how are you feeling? I'm nervous. I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen. And then I reassure them and let them know that this is not that. We're going to take it slow. And so sometimes you do have to jump in the deep end and just swim. Swim. Yeah. And just know that even though you jumped in the deep end, there was a lifesaver sitting there ready for you to help you through it and say, okay, let's go. Flap those arms, kick those legs. You got this. Come on. You got it. And if you need me to jump in there with you, I will. Weave and all. Yes, ma'am. Because I am willing to get there with you to help you float on your own. So I'll do the rescue part, but then there's another part where it's like, okay, now I'm going to teach you how to float on your own. So
Yes.
that you can float and you go through life and you learn these coping skills, and then you can do this on your own.
Yes.
Yes.
Amen. Now, what's next for you, lady?
Oh boy, I have a lot of things next. I have a
Oh,
lot
come on with it.
about. And
Come
so, like
on
I
now.
said, I'm going to get Haven of Light School of Mental Health together. I do
Mhm.
want to start teaching people who look like us, people of color, how to support people with mental health issues, how to support the church, and having mental health advocates in every church. I want every church to have a therapist assigned to them. So this is what my goal is. I want to get this the School of Mental Health started so that way we can get government funding to help support our people who look like us. So yes, the big piece is the church part, but there's a whole nother piece of this where I want to start training counselors and therapists how to work with our people. Now, keep in mind when we go to grad school and things of that nature, we are pretty much the minority in that room.
Mhm.
And then we're learning about psychology about a whole bunch of middle-aged Caucasian people and people who started psychology. And so we're learning from that aspect when there's such a big, broad piece of it that the minorities don't really reach. We don't really get into that piece. And so we learn all these things. And then we have to, as a minority counselor, we have to flip everything we learn and tailor it to fit our people. So why not we teach our people how to support our people, not to limit it, but to give us another avenue, another tool in order to help our community.
Okay. Amen.
Yes.
Now, how can people contact you?
Yes. So you can contact me. Again, it's Haven of Support Counseling Services. We do have a Facebook page. You can always message us on there. You can give us a call at 314-325-1995. You can also email us at info at havenofsupport.com. Okay. That's how you can get in contact. And if you need any extra support, where you need to find a therapist, and let's just say I'm not in your state or things of that nature, you can always feel free to give me a call and I can give you some resources for someone who is in your state who can serve you. Okay. And so, yep, that's how you can reach me.
Wonderful. All right. Okay. So I don't know how familiar you are with my show, but that's probably a good thing. So I have I've two last questions. It's normally one,
Mhm.
but because this is going to air now, and then I'm going to also re-air this again on my podcast. So
You
you
edit
get
that
to,
knockout.
you're going to do it twice. So here's the question for this show. You
Mhm.
ready? If you could have any actress, which is a good question for you, actually, since you want to be an actress, if you could have any actress portray you in your life story, who would it be
Ooh.
and why?
Oh, wow, wow, wow. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, you got me stumped on that. Whew, that's a good one. I have no idea. I have no idea. And this is why I say I have no idea because I think I'm so authentically me that I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if anybody can play me.
Okay. Now, okay, viewers that are watching, y'all know her. Who do y'all think can play her?
Who do you think?
Who do y'all think can play her in her life story? Now, while y'all coming up with some answers, I'm gonna give I see, Mr. Nelson said you're an amazing woman. Yes, she is.
See, oh, that was a good that was one of those questions that has stumped me. I am not stumped really. I'm usually able just to come up with something. I do not know.
Okay, but I'm gonna give you your next question while people are coming up with their wheels are spinning. Your
Uh,
next question is: if you could have any song be your theme song when you walked into a room, what would it be and why?
okay, a theme song. Oh, I have so many. Okay, a theme song. So right now, my theme song is "Do Not Pass Me By." So
All
that
right, now
old song.
that's
This is my thing. This the one I play over and over and over again in the morning. So this is my theme song for this season I'm in. And it's the slower version. So it's not the fast, do not pass me. It's the slower one. So it's
Okay.
Savior, Savior. And I love that song because it's like, Lord, don't pass me by. I'm
Yes.
I'm an empty vessel. I'm willing to do what you called me to do. Whatever you do, don't pass me by. I want to be used by you. So don't pass me by. Don't look me over. I'm ready. I'm got my hand up. Don't look me over, Lord. I'm right here. I'm willing. I got it. Come on.
Yes.
Pick me.
Yes.
That is definitely me. So that is my theme song for this season. Do not pass me by because I'm
All
willing.
right.
I'm ready to go. Yeah.
All right. Amen.
Yeah.
Now, someone said Gabrielle Union.
Gabrielle Union.
Do you agree? Do you agree with that?
You know what? She is very, very, very she, you know what? She does she's very expressive.
She is.
And I think she's very expressive even when she's just being her. So I think that might be a good touch to it.
Okay.
That might be a good touch.
But do you agree with it? You don't agree with it, do you?
I'm not saying that I don't agree. Maybe it's the personal stuff I don't agree with, but I love her as a person. I really do. Just probably choices. Let me just put it like that. So there's that.
Okay. All right. Because
what would you say?
Okay, because I'm not thinking of necessarily the person as the person themselves.
Yeah. Just their acting ability.
Their acting ability, their continence, and their face themselves.
Okay. Who would you say?
I don't really. Okay.
I'm stumped too.
That's, I don't know.
You're right, Marlena. Like, she is very positive, and I do love her. That is she's very positive. She's very expressive, and I do. Somebody said Queen Latifah.
Well, see,
but
okay.
Yeah. I think that both of those people, so Gabrielle Union, I absolutely do love her personality. She's very authentic. So yes, if I were to choose someone, it would have to be someone who's very expressive, very authentic, and that's just them. It's not just something that they're portraying, but it's just them. So I will choose Gabrielle Union for that piece. Now, Queen Latifah, maybe somebody said set it off, right? Maybe the gangster side of me, maybe I got a little gangster in me, maybe that. Queen Latifah is a good actress though.
She's a very good actress.
Really
now again, as I'm thinking about looks, if you're going through looks, oh God,
I'm thinking Raven-Symoné maybe.
And that's exactly who I was thinking about.
I think Raven-Symoné.
I'm saying Raven-Symoné.
Yeah,
as far as looks go.
She's very expressive.
Yeah. But acting, she's not. I mean, that's a Raven-Symoné. You know, I question.
Channel, kind of actress.
Hey, Amber.
Hi,
Amber. That's my girl. I'm thinking Raven-Symoné as far as looks go. That's who was in my head.
Yeah,
but her acting ability, I would not say that would be the perfect person for you. But looks wise,
though, I can't say she's very expressive, but I don't think our personalities are the same. Yeah,
no.
Jill Scott,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one because Jill can act.
Coming with it, she is like, look, I know all the actors. Come on,
I know all of them. All of them.
Marlena is actually a really good. She's a therapist as well. And St. Louis, and I'm just going to give her a shout out because she is awesome.
Hey, Marlena.
And she is like a weight loss specialist in therapy. So I hope I'm getting this right. Sorry, Marlena, but she's a weight loss specialist and she's a marriage counselor as well with her and her husband. They do joint marriage counseling. She's awesome.
Really?
so authentic, so authentic. Absolutely love her. So yes, she does both of those things, which is very cool because that's a specialty that not a lot of therapists are in. And then when we come to the African American community, you don't really hear that specialty with weight loss. She's
Right.
very knowledgeable.
And weight loss and emotion does go hand in hand.
Yes, it does, honey. Believe me.
Because emotional eating it is real.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, I might need to inbox you, Miss Marlena. Hey,
Yeah.
girl.
Really. She's amazing. She's amazing.
Hey, girl. No. She gave you a quick shout out.
Yes. Love
Well,
you.
well, thank you, Lena. I cannot. You have been a joy, and like I said, for you just openly, willingly, just came on with no hesitation. I cannot thank you enough.
Yes.
You are just the bomb.com, your energy, your glow, you just the yellow, it speaks of your sunshine. Your Now get on YouTube and put some videos out.
Yes. Okay. I definitely will. Let me get on this kick. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I know it's a lot. It's a lot.
That is
It's so much.
Recorded though. It's just have to switch them over to YouTube. So it's not like it's that big of it, that hard to switch them over. But yeah.
But I get it. Like
Yeah.
you said, all these social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, it's the most. It's the absolute most. But you gotta do it.
Yeah, that's true. Gotta push it out there.
We got work to do, girl. So thank you so much. And you just hold on tight and I'm gonna put you backstage, okay? Thank you. Guys. I want to thank you all for joining this Friday for another episode of Worldly Church Girl. And I want to thank my guest. She was just the bomb.com. Please be sure to look her up. If you need any assistance or any help, mental health is important. Please get help if you need it. Make sure you look on their website if you need any assistance. And as always, thanks for joining your one and only Worldly Church Girl.